The call of Samuel, which we heard about in the first reading, took place about 1,000 years, maybe 1,100 years before the birth of Jesus. The call of Samuel is important because Samuel would become the great prophet who would anoint Saul, the first king of the people. He would also anoint David, Saul's successor, David, the greatest king of all the people, the one from whose line would come the Messiah, Jesus Christ, Emmanuel, whose birth we just celebrated. But it's interesting to note how this happened. Samuel was new at the temple as a young adult, and he needed the guidance of Eli, the old priest. Eli became kind of an instrument through which God reached out and got Samuel to the point where he would acknowledge his presence, his attention, and would say, "Yes, here I am, Lord, I come to do your will. Speak, Lord, your servant is listening," almost identical to what's expressed by the refrain from our psalm, "Here I am, Lord, I come to do your will." It's another example of how God, in his love and his goodness, uses human intervention to accomplish his plans, to do what he wants to do through the work of Eli. Same thing happened in the gospel passage. John the Baptist, first of all, for the sake of those who are with him, points Jesus out. There is the Lamb of God. Behold the Lamb of God. John the Baptist points him out. And then there are two with him. They leave him and go to Jesus. Of those two, one is Andrew. Andrew leaves that pairing and goes to get his brother Simon, brings him to Jesus, and Jesus gives him a new name, Cephas, which means Peter, which is a sure example that something new and tremendous is going to happen. But you see how different people are used in different ways to bring others to the Lord. For us to remember that, a couple of things. First of all, each one of us is called. Maybe not to the type of greatness of Samuel or John the Baptist or Andrew or Peter or the apostles. But each of us is called to take his or her place in the salvation that God won for and promises all of us. Each of us has a role. Each of us has a part to play. Each of us finds out about that role in different ways. Sometimes we became aware of our gifts through something that someone said. It could be a loved one, it could be a friend, it could be a coworker, it could be a priest on the parish giving a mission. It could be a special retreat that you went on. It could be just your own personal spiritual reflection. But there are various ways that we become aware of the call that we have to fulfill our part in God's plan through our prayer, through our generosity, through our compassion, through our forgiveness, through our support. So it's important for us to remember that. The second thing that's important for us to remember is we can be those instruments like Eli was, like John the Baptist, like Andrew. We can be instruments that lead others to the Lord. They can witness in our lives what the Lord does, and so come to believe in his trust and his love for them, come to accept their call and the part they have to play in God's plan. We can be witnesses of doing that. It helps to have a little consciousness of what that means. What we do or don't do is witnessed by others and either leads them in the right direction or not, convinces them or not. But our challenge is to try. They have to make their final decision. The important thing for us to remember then is that we're called, and that when we answer the call, we're witnesses that help others to have the strength and the courage to answer the call. Above all, the most important thing is that we don't put God on call waiting.